Now, we had seen how men are dressed for occasions. This is now a woman in full gear. From Legisa, that I'm putting on, in Chungaga. Then this one is just a sword logo. Then this one is called Rek. And in Doluo, when a woman of dignity is fully dressed, we say Maria Rek. From this is got from Seychelles. This one is here with us. And this one is now not there. It's not easy to get. So this is a woman in full gear, a dignified Luo woman dressed that way. This one is a representation of a bed. We used skin because you can just have the skin. For sitting, sleeping, for sitting. We continue the lecture. Local brew is served here. And then men use, this is polo, and it is called a second. It's suited with the sea, so that you don't take in what you don't need. Then women were given, women were they also do the same like the whole kabo. So women were served using calabashes, and they sit down behind the men, so that when everybody gets warm from the brew, then people begin dancing around. They dance, and then we.
Correction. The one that you drink with calabash is called attire. When you drink with straw is called bari. In bari, when a woman comes, she goes to her in-law, not her husband. And then she kneels down and then he gives her the straw. Now when the baby comes, she comes and now she lives there and she can drink from there. See? Through the straw. Only from the calabash. This is through the straw. But that's what is also happened. So that is Mare. See, there's the one you drink with this one here is attire. Attire, you know, is when it's ready, you filter it through Dim. Dim is here. Dim, we call it Dim. Put in a pot and then it is warmed. So that is now. Take it now. You drink like this.
Yeah, there's enough oil movie here.
With a memory that is there in your tear. But in Bari, the one for the elders, she puts here in this pot. This pot is actually put under you dig a hole up to here, submerge it. and this suck. Everybody has got his own temperature. But then when it goes down beneath liquid, you drink hot water.
Or the marriage stuff.
This is Bari. Okay? Yeah, so you get that right. Bari, is fried. Attire is cooked. So after you cooked it, you go and put it outside. It cools. When it cools, then you take a big pot, and then you pour water on it. Then you cook it all. Then you give it to now mature. Wow.
Thank you so much for that. Okay. In our culture, Culinary is considered so we just continue. Okay. It's considered a very delicious food for the Luos. So it is trapped using this trap. Then it is
always on top of a tree. The tree never patches on a tree. It just jumps from one point to the other. So when they hear people singing there, they're looking for it on the ground.
Yeah.
That's where they meet with the traps. Okay?
And they are trapped.
Designs.
Then here we have some of the traditional seeds for our traditional foods. We have bok. Bok has a lot of roughages, vitamins and minerals. So when we prepare it, we put a bit of that milk as kind of plant hot to soften it so that when we eat it doesn't give us a lot of problem. And this is pumpkin. Pumpkin has a lot. We eat even the leaves. The leaves have a lot of vitamins, iron, and with other vegetables. So, in our culture, men used to milk, and some women are also trained to milk in jar. It's called whale. Maybe these days we use those plastic ones. The concept was from whale marriage and war. After milking, then we pour it in. This was a voodoo markuan. This is ugali, a representation of ugali, of course. And this was the voodoo markuan.
Adita.
Adita is never Adita.
Just a complex.
Then tao, not of fish. Then there's something that is a bit unique, the way the Lugos cook fish. We have a temperature regulator inside between fish and the pot. So that even if you're engaged somewhere, we are used to multitasking. So you're doing something, it protects the fish from getting burnt. Suaro is another side of town, but it's of Dubai. And they're close. We normally do this as we remove the chaff from the grain. And then the grinding is done. I don't have a grinding stone here, but I have a grinder and a sharpener. So before you TM, so that this surface is rough, the surface of the grinding stone is rough, so that you can grind your flour in your pole, and the pole, and your TN. And your TN is somewhere here. And so you pack your flour here, or here. And that is the name of one of our recognizing their teams. So this is for fishing, and these are for shopping. I want to show the data.
From Ethiopia to Kenya during the colonial period. This is nearly 50 years ago. He followed them when they were in the prison. He followed their release, and he took them to his house. Mama Ida told me that he saw young people from South Sudan, but he didn't know John Garang was among them. So the old man nurtured the relationship, and his son, the great leader, Excellency Raila Odinga, nurtured the relationship even after the demise of my husband. He has been connected with us as a family. And so whenever there is events in Lua or Piny Lua, he will always invite me. In those early years of post-independence of Kenya, people suffered not only in Kenya, but all around the region. We have shared heritage, and I have seen it today. And I was so glad to hear His Excellency during his debate in Addis, when he was introducing himself as Raila Odinga from Kenya. But his back, where he came from, was in South Sudan in Baragazal. I was alone and I clapped my hand. I didn't know that he was doing something like this to follow his heritage. So today, to stand among you here, I wanted to say, who's lucky? Is it the people of Piny Lua or me who is here today in the new year of 2025? Is it you or me? Thank you. I applaud my brother, His Excellency Honorable Raila Odinga, who has worked hard to unite the Lua people and trace their roots in a vibrant celebration like this. And I always copy what he does. When he did the handshake, like what our pastor was saying here, he's a man of peace. When he extended his handshake to Uhuru Kenyatta, and I was invited by President Salva because we had differences from 2013. I also say that in 2018, 2019, let me also extend the hand of peace like what my brother did. If you have a good brother, can you not copy him? Yes. I did, and I also continue to copy him. This is why I follow the footsteps. He's my brother, and I will call him my brother-in-law, because him and Dr. John were born in the same time, they have the same age. And here, because I will not be here during your birthday, I wanted to say happy birthday on the 7th of January. Your brother's birthday is in June. So you will also extend that one to me, because I always receive. When I planted the tree, I told the governor it will be written John Garang and Rebecca. Who am I without him? I want to tell the women here, you are nothing without your husband. I wanted to tell men also, you are nothing without your beautiful wives. God created us in his own image, but in his infinite knowledge, he made women beautiful and delicate. And then also what happened in Luo and Dinka, they force women to marry. They don't know that there is a chemical that God brings you together. Don't force girls to marry. Let them choose their husbands. And let the boys choose their wives. I wanted also to say that this event should be extended all over, if it is not our region, but around where our people are, like what he has done. There are Luos in Nigeria. There are Luos in South Sudan. And we have the tribes which are connected with Luos in South Sudan. One of them is Sholo. The other one is Peri. And we have a Choli. They speak almost the same language. You cannot interpret them when they are speaking. So those people want to bring them together. And when we are like this ego of staying alone will go away. It will bring peace, unity, love among our people in our region. And this one will be extended all over the continent of Africa. We have to love one another. Africa is rich. And I'm happy my brother is going because he has the same mentality of us depending on ourselves, depending on our resources. We have everything. Our raw materials are taken to build other countries. This time when he's going there, he's going to build Africa. Thank you very much. God bless Piny Luo. Thank you.
Tumpigie makofi ya kilo and give a standing ovation. That is our sister from South Sudan, a leader in that country. We appreciate you for all the kind words and for the support of Baba, His Excellency Raila Odinga in his quest for the position of the AUC chair. I turn this over now to my brother Maurice, or is it Adams? I think Adams, Prof.
Thank you very much. Now we go to a session that we didn't finish yesterday, where we had our keynote speakers. And we remained with the final keynote speaker, who is none other than Professor Bethuel Alan Ogot. Professor Bethuel Alan Ogot is 96 years old now. His body is frail, but his mind is clear. He is the most eminent scholar on the history of the Luo. He has studied the Luo for over 60 years, and he has written on all Luos, be it the Luo of South Sudan, be it the Luo of DRC, be it the Luo of Tanzania, be it the Luo of Uganda. He is a walking dictionary on the history of the Luo. He can't be here with us here physically, and therefore we have done a recording. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Governor and the Steering Committee, Professor Bethuel Alan Ogot. You can play the video.
Bethuel Alan Ogot. I'm professor of history. I've taught history at Makerere University, and, University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, and Maseno University for the last almost 60 years. I've studied history and culture also for the last for over 60 years now. I've written several books and articles on the Luo and their culture. When I talk of the Luo, I don't mean the few of us in Kenya, although that's what the Luo in Kenya like to feel, that they are the Luo. To begin with, the Luo are a few people in Africa who are multinational. They are multinational in two senses. Starting from Khartoum, which is a Luo word. It's not what the Arab think, it's a Luo word, meaning where two Niles, Blue Nile and White Nile mean. Up to Mwanza in Tanzania, you find the Luo. It's the same language. There are dialects here and there, but we are dealing with the same people. They are multinational in the sense that the Luo in Sudan, and they are the majority there, over 20 million, feel and share almost the same views as the Luo in Kenya. When you go to Uganda, again they are the majority population in Uganda. Believe it or not. It is only in Kenya where we are not a majority. Tanzania, we are about just over 1 million of them. But they regard themselves as one, but in different nationalities. Those in South Sudan believe they are South Sudanese, Luo. Those in Ethiopia, and there are two groups there, big one, in a whole district there, they believe they are Ethiopians, but they also Luo. You go to Democratic Republic of Congo, there's one big group there. They believe they are Luo in everywhere. When you come to Kenya, of course, Tanzania, the same. So they are multinational in that sense. They are also multinational in another sense, that quite a number of them belong to two countries. In Sudan, the people in Ethiopia believe they are Ethiopians, but they also rule. The people in Congo feel they are Congolese, where people are fighting now, but they are also rule. The people in Tanzania, there's an imaginary boundary between Kenya and Tanzania. They regard it as imaginary boundary. People are just crossing into Tanzania. If I open I can play you the youth in Tanzania right now, singing songs and so on, playing Urutu and so on, and Yatiti. You will not tell the difference between Yatiti being played in Tanzania and Yatiti being played in Kenya, and the language is the same. Even a lot of people in Tanzania are Luos, including the mother of Nyerere, it's a Luo girl. So they are international in that way, multinational in that way, that they are Luos, but they also belong to different nationalities. That's the first point I wanted to make about the Luos. Second point is that the Luo people are lake and river people. If you look at their movement, it's all along the lakes and along the rivers. And their lives are guided by rivers and lakes until they reach the main lake, Lake Victoria, which they call Namlolwe. This is the biggest tropical lake in the world. So when they reach Lake Victoria, they say, no, we have now arrived. And their lives are affected a lot by the fact that they are river lake people. So if you want to understand their lives and so on, you have to study how the rivers and lakes influence their existence and beliefs. Now, the history of Kenya Luo would feel that the real was you know, the history I'm talking about begins about almost 400 years ago. The history of the Kenya Luo begins from about 1500. It's a very recent, but they always pride themselves that they are the Luo. And they are holding their conference in the Sierra now. Piny Luo. And Piny Luo, in their sense, include the whole countries of Migori, Homabay, Kisumu, and the first people to arrive in Nyanza, Dr. Joe. Look at where they settled. They followed the river and they found the lake. They found a mountain called Ramogi. Ramogi is a name which you find in Uganda, Agoro area, right? Not of Uganda. And the first Ramogi was there, which died in Uganda. His son is the one, Ramogi is the one who led the first group of Luos into Kenya. They say there are two clans that look after it. A clan cannot look after a holy place. If you look at the history of the Luo all along, they have been having those places, religious places. And they have holy people who look after those places. Not clans. I've never understood why the Luos in Kenya don't have holy people to look after those shrines, the one in together with scientists, we spent a whole year studying that mountain. And I hope people will go there and study what is there and the names that are there. There's what they call a rock. There's all kinds of names. But in the end, what they are trying to do is preserve the environment. You are not allowed to cut any tree there. You are not allowed to. The whole environment preserved there. But what is lacking is somebody or some people who are religious enough and whose job really is to look after that mountain. And I would suggest those are some of the things they should discuss. This is connected with, again, what is very important, what I call religious beliefs and cosmology. You know, you only worry about dead people if you believe that they are alive when they die. You know, there are people in Kenya who, when you are ill, you are taken to the bush, ropes were tied on your leg, and that was the end. They don't believe that dead people see you. But there are very few people in Kenya, also communities, who believe in afterlife. And this has nothing to do with Christianity. This is their religion and their cosmology. And that's why they bother about all these things. burying the dead, looking after them, appointing priests, all along. When you go to even Padola next door here in Tororo, I've shown it in my book, you find the priests are very, and when you go there, you don't wear shoes, you go to but I see people going to Ramogil with shoes, some of them very dirty shoes. Because it's not being given the respect it deserves. But the religion and the belief in afterlife which inspires this. But communities which don't believe in afterlife don't have to bother. And there are very few people who believe in this. Even in naming children, there are a lot of people who say, no, so and so appeared to me at night and said I should name this child so and so. Some even demand that I should be named. But that can only happen if we believe in afterlife. So as we celebrate Christmas, talking of birth and death and afterlife, we should also know that there are other cosmologies and religions that believe in afterlife, and the Lua, some of them. Secondly, I want to say something about the place of women in Luo society. This is very important. If you look at the Luo history from Khartoum to Mwanza, it's full of queens. Queens. Real queens. The first one was called Nyawira. You know Nyawira. And it's 13 something. Not recent. In northern Bonyoro. If you go to Uganda now, the place is called Pawir. It's still there. That was queen, and he created an empire. It's a big empire called Pawir. And so there are several of them. By the time we came to Kenya, and we didn't have kings, we didn't have queens. But when you go to Kadem, in South Inanza, that's where we have the first woman chief. Before European came, the German found out there was very difficult German, the British in Kadem. But this was a pale reflection of what they used to be. But we had one, a chief. Secondly, the kings and the queens always appointed a woman to look after or run or lead a country. You're a king, you have a country, it's too late for you. You don't find, they didn't send men, they sent women. That women are more loyal. If you send a man, start dividing the country. Still on women, there are several military regiments of women only, fighting independently of main regiment. And this happened up to South Nyanza here, when the Luos were fighting against the Kisi, and that was not bad. They used women from Karachuano, Kasifuru, Kabondo. Regiments, women. But when we started fighting about the Kipsigis, that was the worst war. And they killed a lot of Kipsigis people who thought they were just women. And the descendants of the women who fought the Kipsigis are Fibasio and the late, no, he's still alive, Brigadier Upandi, who now lives in Kitale. Those are the descendants of the women who fought the Kipsigis and won. And we should, I don't know any people in Kenya who are the women armies. When Brigadier Upandi read my book, he came here with a whole clan from both South Nyanza and Kitale. And we sang and we ate here the whole day. And he said, I think you are a good historian if you can discover our background. But we are descendants of these women. Without them, Kasipu, Kabondo, and Karachuanyo would be in Kipsigis. I'm not surprised we are still fighting a zone between Kipsigis and Ilmus at Kericho. You know, when you read all colonial books about the war, particularly in Sudan, you see them naked people walking who are supposed to be pastoralists. Most of them are not pastoralists. They are not pastoralists. They are keeping animals. In some areas there are no animals at all. People are agriculturists. Others found mines and they became iron workers. It's a mixed economy. 2 hours from Sudan to Tanzania. I don't see anybody who lies on cattle alone. We are not pastoralists. This is the point I'm making. Right from the beginning, you see they are all set along rivers. And the rivers in my book I mentioned all the rivers. And they go on following rivers and lakes, rivers, lakes. When they run from small hill, they settle, but not a mountain. Lake. When they get to Elgon, there's a place called Molo now, but it was named after Molo, was the name of the little settlement there, and the leader is now called Molo. But they refused to go to Mount Elgon. They ran away and they started coming down towards Uganda, Manyala and Uganda. Even Uganda they found too cold. It is only in the 19th century, toward the end of the 19th century, that a few misguided ones went to North Uganda, Game, North Teme, and part of Kasipu Kabondo. Show me a little woods in the mountain. They ran away from them. Opportunity was there. Even Kisi was not populated when the Lewis got there. But they ran away from Kisi, too cold. They went to the lakeside. And the economy was based on that. Their vegetables, their, who they ate and so on, which I will explain in detail, they are all to do with the rivers and lakes and so on.
The last question from me that you should address, there was Luo Union.
Their leaders, kings and queens, must be bearded and in mycelium. Some of us think this is a new thing. From about 400 years ago, you see it in my book, at 2 weeks. Beautiful architecture. No queen, no king. It's just after burial. In fact, you decide where you're going to bury him. Usually, the headquarters of the kingdom. But after that, make a beautiful Macelia. As they move south, they are getting better and better and better and bigger. And they became much of a religious center. But they also marked the boundary of any kingdom. By the time they reached Bunyoro, where they established the Kitara Empire, as they moved, they established this thing. When the British wanted to take over that area, they went and annexed half of Bunyoro with all the Igbo Museli, and handed that to Buganda. So started what is called fight for lost counties. Because they took counties, several counties, half of Bunyoro counties, and gave them to where all these holy places were. And the war started. Until the Lancaster House for Independence of Uganda came. They could not agree on anything. Bunyoro and Obote insisted that it must go back to Bunyoro. The British were supporting Baganda. So they compromised and said, all right, let's make Kabaka of Buganda president of Uganda, which was very strange. But Obote will be prime minister on one condition, that you organize an international commission to decide on this question in lost countries. So, since Obote wanted independence, they agreed. He organized a commission. Commission did its work for a year and came to the conclusion that these things should go back to Bunyoro. Kabaka's president was supposed to sign that document. He refused to sign. Obote said, if you refuse to sign, I also demand my presidency. You cannot be president of Uganda who does not own our own.
Okay, that is Professor Bethwell Ogot, and I think the women in the house will see how women in Luo society have always been a cornerstone of whatever happens in Luo land. I'll now ask the DG to call one of our governors from outside. This
Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me to welcome the Governor of County 021. I hope I get it right. The Governor of Muranga, His Excellency Irungu Kangata, a very good friend of the region, a very good friend of my governor, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, and was indeed the classmates of one of my colleagues. He was, at one point, by the way, a student leader at the University of Nairobi, doing a very good job. We welcome you. This is the 4th edition of the Piny Luo. We gather like this. At least this is the 4th edition, and we celebrate our culture and reconnect with our brothers and sisters from all over the countries where we live. Most welcome, Your Excellency. Wagone Lwedo Samobiro, Erokamano. Most welcome.
Raila Odinga, the Prime Minister. We have His Excellency James Agli Orengo. We have the governors of Homa Bay and also my friend Wanga, and also my friend, His Excellency Ochiro. We have Professor, His Excellency Governor of Kisumu. Allow me to reach there and say all protocols observed. God is good. Today is one of my happiest days because I've come here to celebrate one of the most important communities that have made Kenya what it is, the community of Luos. This community was there when we were fighting against colonialism. It stood with the people. They were given the position of leadership by the white man in consideration to betray Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. It refused. This community was there when we were fighting against the tyranny of single-partyism. It was arraigned, arrested, oppressed, but it stood and we won, and Section 2A of the old constitution was done away with, and we became a multi-party democracy. This community of Luo community was there when Kenya was struggling against KANU autocracy. And through the efforts of Raila Odinga, KANU was removed from power and a new country was ushered. This Luo community was there when we formed one of the most progressive governments ever of NAC that gave us free primary education for all Kenyans, that gave us border for all poor young people, that gave us internet for all Kenyans. It is because of the work of this community. This community was there when we were fighting for a new constitution. The Luo community voted overwhelmingly and ensured Kenya has a new constitution. This community has been the forefront for the progress of this country called Kenya. And therefore, when you are born, you do not make an application where you would wish to be born. But I can tell you, being a Luo, you should be very proud. You have made this country go forward. Personally, I've come here also to thank a friend of mine when I was 19 years old and I joined the University of Nairobi and I decided to enter student leadership. The person who believed in us young people that time was none other than James Orengo. He gave us money to put up posters, and I was not from his community, but he could see something little in us when we were young. And therefore, that act of humility, supporting young people, I have no doubt, can only be done by other Luo. This community, when we were suspended in the year 2000 from University of Nairobi, we were 58. I can tell you I was the only Kikuyu in that group. 80% were Luos who were fighting against corruption in University of Nairobi. And that is when I realized Luos have a special something in their blood for fighting for human rights and the betterment of this country. And therefore, looking outside, looking into this community, I want to give you an assurance. The future can only be better. If you continue fighting for what is right, fighting for the truth, this country can only be changed, and the people of this community have to be in the center in that change for the betterment of this country. You are special people. I don't know whether it's because one of your main dish is fish, and we all know fish has special nutrients. No wonder when it's come to the intellectuals of this country, some of the best engineers, the best lawyers, they come from this community. I will finish by urging Kenyans. We come together, we build a better country. We will together, we make Kenya. Kenya can become one of the most richest and progressive Africa countries. That is possible. But that can only happen when we come together. We do away with tribalism. We fight against ethnicity. And I have no doubt this community will help us in that Kenya where we shall not be thinking ourselves as Kikuyus, as Luos, as Kambas, as Kalenjins, but we are talking about the project called Kenya, and I will be there to support this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor Irungu Kangata. When I went for Long Gumbaru, we were in the same class, so he's a good friend of mine. Now, the CARE has organized for Muluor Raila Odinga with his guests, with the governors, with the elders, with the MPs and the facilitators for a traditional Luo cuisine just in the next tent as we prepare for the breakaways. So you'll go to the left for a traditional cuisine, then thereafter there will be breakaway. You shall be shown the tents for the political class, for the religious leaders, for the elders, for the youth, for business people and academicians on socioeconomic development. So with that, I want to call Bishop Abuka no, I'll postpone it. I think we just break for the traditional cuisine and those categories. You go to the left, and then after that, I'll make an announcement right in that tent on which group will go to which tent. In the meantime, to that tent, please. All
Now, we had seen how men are dressed for occasions. This is now a woman in full gear from Legisa that I'm putting on, in Chungaga, then Tao, Noatoke fish. Then there's something that is a bit unique, the way the Lugos cook fish. We have a temperature regulator inside between fish and the pot, so that even if you're engaged somewhere, we're used to multitasking. So you're doing something, it protects the fish from getting burnt. Suaro is another side of town, is of Dubai. And they are close. We normally do this as we remove the chaff from the grain. And then the grinding is done. I don't have a grinding stone here, but I have a grinder and a sharpener. So before you tear, this surface is rough. The surface of the grinding stone is rough, so that you can grind your flour in your pong and the pong and the nyatien. And nyatien is somewhere here. And so you pack your flour here or here. That is the name of one of our recognizing nyatien. So this is for fishing, and these are for shopping. I want to show the data.
Koro kaini wanie gigiwa magiolu machon mane watiyo ga godo nyaka nyuon kata wikan gipend mon mane gibedo godo to kendo kaka koro orie tiende ochwako mach mone bet korie tiende kama koro choro maeni ka e aguche mar ohigla motede rech kanyo no kete gimiluongo ni ondwaro ne ye kanyo mondo kik rech moki nikech mach ng'eny ahinya ka gulo osemako mach to koro bedo gi mach mang'eny. Rechno kosetoke itede titoke mae oswaro mane itoke rech. Koro kaeni an ga agwata nieni agwata mar madho nyuka to makoro maduong' kata koro manyalo koro koduong' kiluongo ni agwata wal mako olne nyuka mang'eny to iluongo ni ote. Mani watumo godo chak, wanyalo luongo ni ng'ato chak, mano ote.
Agweta wal ni pimo go I or mondo ne ka chiembe ng'eny.
Ondwaro is put into this ohigla such that the fire which has been burning the ohigla and it has been very hot does not, it prevents fish from sticking onto the pot. Okay, and then here we have got our sare. Sare and shell marnyang. Despite that one, this one is very small, but we have got even larger ones than this one. And then to make our ugali, we had to use oliho, which also is called oluthkwon. People who are living in Uganda and the Lego areas call it oliho. But once we pass those areas coming to Seme and Kisumu region, we call it oluthkwon. Now here we have got seeds, various seeds, mwapedo, mapostolayo, marolayo. Maeni wangi kodhi mar nyim walongoni same one kodhi kaeni there are various, there are many mabel maruchuti bel wan godo kodhi mopogore opogore. Koro kaeni wanie gi kothe manene watiyo godo kaka jiluo.
Just hold on kapok idhiye gima nikane kodhi chon donge ne kodo uyude kodo nikane kodo
kondo mama kane kodhi
nikech
plastic to nyo biro ni wanyoro to koro nyo ayudo mondo wayude kar ting'o nyo ok wayudo mar tondo no maber mak mano wanyalo temo dwaro. Okay, erokamano. When I come here, koro an gi mortar gi pestle pany gi rayoki. An gi pany kanyo ariyo, mwayoke njugu, wanyayoke kata yath bende, wanyalo swage iye kaeni. Kato an gi koya moro kaeni, ma bende koya moro maduong', nyo pok otiyo, nyo kor kwa yore an gi ko mosetiyo, mabiro nyiso kwa chopo kama, wanie gi mo mawuokie ko, wabiro yude bathe kocha. Koro kan gi gigo mane watiyo godo, tools, working tools. Working tools wakaeni, maeni en le. Mae le nyaluo. Kopogre gi le moko matinde waneno kande. Le nyaluo en mana kama. To koro mamako ni, ilungo ni log le. Ok lwet le. Kata ok bad le. Log le. Le ni en jaduong' nyalo gole. Ogole ka en koridwa tu kode ahinya mokane. To kamano enyo kane to nokane iguru mar dir kendo ni. Mokane nikech samoro nyithinde nyalo bedo manyalo tugo gi le, to le en mar jaduong' e wuon go. Kaeni an gi koyo, this for carving, mwapecho godo. En mwapayo kode gik mag yende gi te kata odwa loso pany, kata odwa loso mana magi te, wapayo gi koyo. It is a carving tool. Mae ni nene rapur mane wadoyo ga godo, rapuchwa makasiri, to twege okod rabolo, fiber mar banana. Kaito en kako tweye ni eni onyalo mbekni, to kombekni to mondo ride to pi emiyo oleka emakuru miyo dogo ridore. Koro wabedo gi rapucho ma en mwadoyo gode, en mane mine nyiso wago ni en marwa mar doyo. Maeni en wanego Ramogi kaeni, dala Ramogi Ajwang kaeni, kama kite ng'eny eni kidwa tong'o yien moro to ka eni biro go kidi to koro wiye ni odore kochiko koni, me ma kidi tuomo to kidi ok makma. To koro mzungu ka no bokre bogiro turo ka boneno giro maber ni en koro dhi loso mare, to dhi loso ma wiye odok koni ma kichong'o godo to manyaka kidi maki. Koro kata ne gikokowa to pod ne aneno mani wayombo gi mano ratong' mato. Koro kwa tong'o an gi maeni mama naka koro me mosirre godo odunga mar mama, odunga mar jaduong' te mana odunga mar jaduong'. Koro ka odunga mar jaduong' ne bor yombe gi bor. Koro ka mesa pot ka koro kata jaduong' ti kaka kotinda tini koro adhi kodo arungu wan godo kamane gi manyaka ne waber ga eni ma yuwo mako gote tugo die to koro kedo maduong' aduk kaeni maeni en asere atung' mar nyoto nokanyera ni koriyo to pina kel moro to mae asere makane waywayo kwa keti atung' to koro kowite to kodonjo kuomi to bende koro waneno mani kori bed mos.
Mamba no matatu.
Koro ka an gi tonge ma koro chuny kedo. Makudo bunyi boya, udu chianganyi, obunyi kichole, udu choda. Kakoro kobogo pay. Oh, obunyi kichole, udu choda. Tong markwe. Wagi tong mawar kodo kai. Matong bunyi boya ni ne mari makuru martugo, vitugo godo mos. Mino ka ji tugo gono di koro gi tugo. Tong tugo ma ok en ma kedo cha. Tong dindo to nende aonge kode ka. En malo kod tong to kwane ni bebe. Inya chwo kode kata mana rech yeni ina. Koro ngamodi e kedo no. Kanendi kedo maber. Ngamu kedo maber to lale ga gi ngato. Kor ka ngokuoni. Koro ene miye gimiluongo ni tora. Tora ni nen lak njiri. Wato. Ene makakor tora mano ja tora. Mana medal. Mar warrior. Thank you. Ngamu seneko.
Koro tani kwadwa nono wach madhi nyime ka. Kwadwa dong duogo no oriwa lwedo mondo ayud wach madhi nyime. Nyisa maler ni gagi onindo marach nakwachakwa nuoye. Dwaro wacha adier. Manoe. Ineno ka gimoni ataro ni. Ng'atni to bodyguard mare luwendi. Uno ka gimodong umore umate. Giumore gi ginene. Gibondegi. To gagi mondo ataro ni. Manu bodyguard mare. Jok ma lawe te, mo haure go te. Oyombo mabo, mano Raila Odinga moja. Piny Afrika. Kaka wachono. Gagoye. Kwa kweli. Kwa kweli. Mano gagi koro yie una ko humoro ka apod pega misinya dia pinge kabisa. Da wan gore gonya tiengwe na dika wike kate no bakubura to kai mana kubura. Ai go ai ku. Onya yenga. Oya kama. Koro right. One thing we're going to change the food. Koro diro and la chiel or road to magical musical instrument and kibo eto waru dege ka mano road to ilos record tien ngech mai ni tien ngech. To the other musical instrument man goro kaeni en nyatiti ene tumu madunga enya wajuduo mano nyatiti magakoro nendo se leta pe muliere ni magi percussion mare gara to kon nyaduo gen gara ni tielo kini wana boy maeni en oporo. Ora muchamo con me. Kina chio. Koro tumbo for the First World War. To kati duro koro gero di to moru che kaeni. Mondo ngone kenanga ma bejo ma judu mangenyo sabaye. I don't mean to. Baru kali buka ini bene wayo ni ini lo kata-kata dia. To gitu yo walo. Walo an godo ka. Mau los ki sai son. Makoro ka kata jomiel ma minego se tuyo. Corco walre. Corco walre. Comienza. Capiro che camoro cazzo puro aneghe seche mane ji ni e thurwa kaeni jaduong' bedo ni nigi kwesine moro mombogo kosetiele tobako itielo kama be tikete mach koro ma iluongo ni kwesi to maeni miywayo ni madhi kama iluongo ni ondhuch kwesi ema en gima otuch nyaka bed ni otuch kaka oseke ondhuru mar kwesi madho kwesi kende ma wakete e ndawa ne ok mi wich bed mawach ahinya kaka ji dwa dhi e kendo sama koro wadwa dhi e kendo to wadwa ni wigo bed mawach moro mathin ibedi ni koro ok inyal dok chien koro wachamo gimiluongo ni mae ni nyalowo to mae ni puga gi nyalowo kae ni watiele nyasore miluongo ni njaga kosetiele iye kanyo maber ei puga katwa ole pi mang'ich maler kabisa koro kosetielo nyasochwano kanyo maber mwaketo mwaumo wiye kanyo maber twaketo mach gi malo koro ka ywaye to to maji mini dhi menyore to kaka maindo liel chande to wang'o nyasore cha maok omule ok matinde nyithindo ketre godo kaeni koro koto gik moko kaeni ma kaka to ketho koro mae neno dhi adhiya mos to wich moriere
nyaka ipak
osiepni kata manyako moro to kata to osiepni ma nikora pake bado jantie ng'eni wuoyi mang'ongo mecho yalo nwa buche tetete iwinjo kanyo kaneno mama kama to kore wacho noe bas koro ma pien due magi ataya mane joluo bedo godo pien due tinde en sama wachni yude ok yot ahinya to dak e itogo kamano ma to nende pien toro ong'er moro mabede modak e ong'eny tinde kabisa ere mar Rift Valley kucha ere ma Kitale gini kanyo ibiro kong'er mar toro nitie mabende manowi manotoro wan warwake seche ma wanie entertainment mae kom nyaluo manu ka pili aluru ndoka mangema ma chamo bendagi an galuche ka mana bende mana maber maenda keto kaini mondo chamie oro kae kapo kati kanyo an gilau mateko ne ng'eny ma mondo yud ng'ama tinde ni godo kata jodongo mane bedo godo ne ok yot ahinya iluongo ni joho ni ka pime mota pime mana kata kuru seche gieki yudo ni jok manigi paw mamalo rwako ga lewni mana madwa chalro kama kine ng'amiluongo ni jaji kine ng'amiluongo ni speaker mar bunge to kine ka koro wadhi kata ni goro graduation mali ko tinde warwako gudu mar somo lao machalo kaka ma ko joluo ne gi lao modhial mamar ker
record
otwange inyalo rwake
mae kore kuzimba ng'e
mae ni mbele ne mae ni otwange gi law mateko ne ng'eny kabisa makuma nene bende mondo ne yude kit law gi nieni
oken Japan
muy Japan Korea Japan kuma ne gi ae Korea ni luoko kalo